All right, I decided not to play the intro. There's no need for it. We had issues with starting this one, but yeah, we're live. My monitoring window is still saying not connected, but I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, another controlled performance by Chelsea, and a lot of people will argue otherwise. I'm not sure what's going on here. Why is it not connecting? I may have to reschedule it with another app there. So I'm not sure why this is the case. Content, if you're online and you could see me, please do let me know. I'm not sure what's going on with my system. Yeah, still just showing a disconnect from YouTube, uh, between YouTube and the system I'm using. So I'm just going to shut it off and restart. It starts it in two places. So I'm not sure why that is happening. Anyway, we're going to try and have the conversation here, but I'm not sure why that is the case. Um, let's see what happens here. Yeah, let's go with this one. I'll just update the what's it called, the thumbnail to what it is. So it was a fine performance by the boys. Controlled performance. I know a lot of people call it boring, but to me, it wasn't. It was a perfect night. It was a controlled performance. We went too much in a hurry to go get a goal, and we suspected that was going to be the case. If you remember, I did ask Dante if he was expecting a boring game. He said yes, and I did expect a boring game. It was boring because we weren't pushing recklessly to get a goal and then risk conceding from an unexpected counter from the opposition. So the manager knew exactly what he was doing. He knew why he started with the players he started with. They did a good job. You could argue they helped wear down the Legia Warsaw players, and then we brought on the big boys, and the big boys got it done. You could argue not even the big boys. Tyrique George got a goal. So one of the big guns that came on and did the job for us was Noni Madueke. It was a good game for him today, and the manager rightly left Sancho on the pitch. He started, you could say, poorly but finished well. Let me just share the link to the panel. Please join me on the panel if you have time. Link. Okay, so yeah, something I've said before: football, the average football fan understands just three things. The three things are win, draw, lose, and in most cases, the approach the manager employs it means nothing to them. A lot of people were still complaining, but I was patient. I knew. I knew the manager knew exactly what he was doing. I knew the approach was going to be boring. Had we gone to that place, as you can see, they were defending deep. And from them defending deep, it's easy to understand that their plan was actually to defend deep and hit us on a break. But we weren't stupid. We didn't take the bait. We played with patience and wasn't too much in a rush to get a goal, and it paid off. But unfortunately, people see things differently, not the same way. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I want to hear your thoughts on the performance today. Constantine Dantu, the captain, is in the house. A lot of people might need to go get some tissue because I called him the captain of the house. Dante, big up to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join me on the panel. The game was exactly what we thought it'd be. Give me one second. Yeah, I think I need to delete a window here. It was a controlled performance. We did play with patience, went too much in a hurry to go get a goal, and it paid off. And I'd still say, had we gone into that game with the mindset, you could say, playing a helter-skelter approach, it's too much in a hurry to go get a goal. We would not have been able to control that game. They would have. You could say probably hit us on the counter and get a goal or two, which will make life difficult for us. But let's hear you, Dante. Your thoughts on the overall performance. Good performance, in my opinion.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect indeed, yeah.
Almost perfect. Yeah. We went pretty much like we said it was going to go. We'll pass the ball around, keep the possession, pin them back. What was good to see that we actually went for it a bit more. So Maresca went to his 2-2-5-1 formation, which is very ultra attacking formation, and that completely pinned back uh, Warsaw. They did not know what to do with that one, so they were completely pinned back. We were really attacking, even though we were passing it around a lot more back, sideways, back,
Yeah,
forward.
we're passing it around with papers, not just backwards unnecessarily.
Yeah, it was on purpose. It was on purpose to draw them out because they went in their shell a bit once we were sort of attacking. They went in their shell a bit and they went really deep. They got really deep. And then Maresca decided to let's keep that. Let's go 2-2-5-1, which he goes every now and then against really lower teams. He's been doing that a lot in the Conference League. And yeah, he decided to do that and really put him under the pressure. And that really pinned them back. And then, yeah, we started controlling the game really well. They really had no answer for it, unfortunately. They just don't have the quality and something they have never seen before probably played against them. So, yeah, it was like we said, controlled. First half was great. Second half was even better, way better. The second half, the changes were
And
perfect.
go ahead.
Yeah, the changes he made were perfect. The players that came on had a lot of energy. They looked fresh. They wanted to play, and we rested Enzo, Caicedo, Jackson. Perfect night all up.
Yeah, perfect net given the fact we even rested some of our big guns and a good thing. I heard the commentators say that Legia Warsaw usually don't play this defensive. So they had to change
No,
their approach because probably they were concerned of our the attacking threat that we pose. So it was for me. I do agree. It was nearly a perfect night, but I'm not sure why I should be agreeing that it was nearly a perfect night. For me, it was just a perfect night. Why did you use the term nearly a perfect night? I really do want to know, Dante.
oh, look, just if it would have been a FC Noah score, then it would have been if KDH put away some of those chances and a couple of other chances we created because we had a lot of shots on target and a lot of shots. So again, just those finishing touches, a couple of lapses at the end there, a couple of lapses in the fence right at the end, nearly cost us a couple of goals right at the end there. So that's why I say not it's not quite perfect, but very close to perfect. But yeah, that's why I say that.
And Houston, one of the biggest issues we had at the start of the season was the inability to control game. But I think
Yep.
we've been able to do that with ease these days. We've shown we can actually do that and do it effectively. I haven't, you can say, gone at the days that towards the end of games you see our defensive line panicking, but I'm seeing so much calmness from them right now. You can see that these players, they're maturing. The more games they play together, they're maturing and they're playing more as a unit. You could all of a sudden, gradually, I've started not to fear defensive errors leading to us conceding goals. Even Badia Chile was playing like the Badia Chile we watched under was it Porta actually, although he wasn't registered for the Champions League, but the games he played in the Premier League for us at the time showed
Yeah.
the sort of talent he is until he got injured and then started struggling again. But today he was just, you could see he was oozing confidence. The way on the in tight spaces, he opted to like find dribble his way out and not
Dribble,
just try
turning
to
out.
put the
Yeah.
ball. Yeah, go ahead.
He was taking players on, dribbling,
Hmm.
turning in between two players. Yeah, he was very confident today,
He
which was
was
good to
very, yeah,
see.
he did come across as very confident. Yeah.
And we haven't seen that for a very long time, to be honest. So that was really refreshing to see. So yeah, he had a good, probably the best defender, probably on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, he was so calm. I want to understand something. How do you read Tosin's change? Um, was he injured, or was just the manager feeling like, okay, he's done enough to help us win the game? I think let's just rest him. Maybe he wants them to start the next game.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another way to see it, or maybe that's a reason the manager uh, preferred bringing on Colwell from that moment
Mhm.
onwards. I just don't know, but yeah, Tosin played well before he was changed.
Yeah, interesting one. I'm not sure. We might find out after. Maybe he had a little niggle. He felt something, so they're not going to risk it. So they just took him off. Maybe it was planned before the game that look, you'll come on. But usually the central defenders don't get changed like that. So I'm pretty sure it must have been something. Maybe he felt something or didn't feel well or something, because he
Mhm.
wouldn't have come off otherwise. I don't see a reason to for him to come off, to be honest.
Yeah, we won, and I think a lot of people that if you will be singing Maresca praises, but had we lost, they start questioning why Madueke didn't start and the others. Just like against Brentford, we didn't even lose, but of course they were they still questioning the manager's selection because we didn't win. And the reason I
Yeah.
told people after that game that we were just one goal away from me saying that that was a good game. The only thing we didn't do was just take our chances and win. The approach worked perfectly. Brentford didn't have fun like they usually do. And since Thomas Tuchel actually, Maresca is the only manager to have gotten the win out of our fixtures against Brentford. But just that, by the way, we're here to talk about our win against Legia Warsaw. It was a perfect night, in my opinion. But that's by the way, we will also talk about Tyrique George opening his goal account for Chelsea Football Club. But I want to hear Bobby's overall opinion on the game in a few seconds. Let me give those in the chat the microphone. I know Maresca doesn't really trust young players, but I hope George and Achimpong are given more chances. If anything, I think he trusts them more than I remember Pochettino and even Potter did. That's just my
Oh
opinion.
yeah.
I was frustrated by the first half, but I was confident we were going to win. The same here. I wasn't frustrated, but I knew the manager that he knew exactly what he was doing. I didn't complain. I was just waiting when is the first, asking the question, when is the first goal going to happen? I knew we were going to beat them. Big up to you too, Mike and Noom. Nice to see you, my brother. I appreciate you finding time to join us. Mike and Noom says Madueke is a big game player, but a lot of fans, i.e., Dante, don't like him. It's not a matter of not liking him. I think Dante has been saying the same thing I've been saying about Madueke. What he needs to do to become even better, those you can say things he needs to do to become even better are things we've talked about here. For instance, be a little less selfish. That will make him believe me, he'd be close to becoming a world class player. We've never said
Yep.
he's a bad player. No, we've only discussed what he needs to do to become an even better player. But let's go to Bobby and get his opinion on the overall performance from the players today. It was beautiful, in my opinion.
Yeah, big up, guys. Welcome
Big up,
back.
Bobby. Mhm.
Listen, we can't really expect much more in terms of the result. It was a good result. Third clean sheet in a row. But apart from Brentford, I really am not sure we can read too much into the defensive performances. However, having said that, we've conceded to worse this season, so I guess something must be right somewhere.
Or something has improved.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I don't agree with the amounts. I think Maresca has certainly been up there in playing the academy players.
Hmm.
His squad is young anyway, the third or so youngest squad in in all of Europe, and he's not shy to play academy players. So that's not a point that we should even be discussing at this moment.
Hmm.
Um, Look, we are where we are, and we have what we have. I thought he rotated the squad wisely today. He clearly did his homework on Legia Warsaw. Um, they only towards the end started showing a bit of bite, and
Which you usually see from the losing team.
yeah, I mean you've got to fight sometimes. If you're at home with all that crowd behind you, and you're 3-0 down, and you're not fighting, then there's something really wrong with you as a team. So, look, we have to be grateful for what's happened, be hopeful for the next leg, and all attention must be on Sunday. The good thing I found today was that with his squad rotation, he with his squad rotation,
I thought we lost you
um,
for a second.
Yeah, I had to pause and shout at one of
Okay.
my kids. These with his squad rotation, um, he he what was I saying? He rested some important players that probably needed the rest. Enzo, Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson, even Palmer came off and got some rest. I'm a little concerned about Palmer. His blip period he needs to start climbing out of it now. He's beginning to make me believe in earnest that he's a player that can only reach the giddy heights if Nicholas Jackson's on the field, because it certainly is looking that way. He's struggling to put passes together. He has quality, there's absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever. But Jackson makes him the superstar he is. It's abundantly clear to me. And he's got to get over that bridge and be able to do a little bit for himself. His passes weren't great. His ball winning was poor. I don't think he had a good game. There were one or two touches that you could say was the old him, if you can use that term with him. But he's got to snap out of it and start showing something when Jackson isn't there. I felt sorry for Nkunku missing his penalty. He could do with scoring that. He didn't take
Bobby,
it with
in
much
all
confidence.
honesty, I knew he was going to miss it
Yeah,
because he's
I
gone
had
from
that feeling.
looking disinterested, from looking, you could say, out of, he showed no confidence, no conviction
I
at
think,
all in his performance. Go ahead.
yeah, there was a confidence thing there. And you're right, his performance is lacking conviction. I didn't know he was a confidence player, but it certainly seems that way. I did feel sorry for him. I think he deserved to at least score that, but you've got to place it correctly to have any chance. So that was unfortunate. And yes, I echo what you say about Madueke. Madueke, there's a very, very, very good player in there, but he's got to be less selfish. He's got to cut out the petulance and focus on his game. He when he tracks back, you can see he's very good at it, and when he goes forward, he's excellent at it. When he's got his mind on his game, so let's see. He's what 22 now, so he should be slowly. Well, he is still young, but at least he plays regularly enough for him to now start to try and drop some of the bad habits.
Yeah, I mean, and thank goodness you're a witness to that. We have never said he's a bad player. All we've always the conversations we've had about him were all with regards to what he has to do to become even better. Dante, you want to add anything to that? Then you talk about Tyrique George getting that goal. Tyrique George is one player I publicly said for me looks like a player that will mature into a better player than Noni Madueke. Why do I say that? Some people probably think because I'm of Nigerian descent that I should be backing him. I back him as a player. I know there's a good player in there. He's a confident chap too. But Tyrique George comes across, from what I've seen so far, as the more intelligent of the two players, in all honesty. And I meant that when I said it. I got a lot of stick. But yeah, that's how subjective I guess I can be with regards to comparing the two players. The future will tell whether I'm wrong or right, but I think Tariq will mature into a much better player than him. Both are good players. One, Madueke, of course, more experience. But just give me 1 second. Let me give the microphone to those in the chat. You can also talk about what Makin Noom said. He's entitled to all his opinion. But if you want to, just say something about that, I'd like you guys to start a fight. Big up the big. Big up to you. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join. And then we have the coolest says Enzo Maresca knew what he was doing. A lot of people don't see it like that. All they know is pass, backwards, sideways. That's how they explain it. It's boring to them, but that's exactly the sort of manager that I want. That's exactly what Pochettino didn't do. Potter didn't do. He was almost always trying to attack, and score goals, and in the process, leave ourselves vulnerable defensively and concede goals. But we're starting to be play with perfect balance that even on the counter, you hardly ever get a chance to score against us. And I've explained how things morphed from being the team that created the most chances in the Premier League to a team that creates, you can say, a little less, not scoring a lot in the Premier League. The manager started with just attack, 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 seeing that we score, but we concede a lot. He brought in Romeo Lavia, leading to us creating a lot less chances because, yeah, even also, what's his name? Cole Palmer does well when we have both Nicholas Jackson and Enzo Fernandez on the pitch. And I'll break that down next time. Then he's dropped Enzo Fernandez, brought in Romero Lavia to have more security for our defensive line. It worked, but we started scoring less goals and creating less chances. And then he figured out a way to even have the three of them on the pitch. Things improved a bit. Then when we started struggling, what did he do? He stops us from being in so much in a hurry scoring goals. He started pushing for more balance, and he's achieved that. And had he not done that, we'd still experience the same thing we experienced under Pochettino and Graham Potter, where we lost chains of games in a row. But he didn't allow that happen for far too long. He did find a solution as quickly as possible, and he helped. Tabelia is saying Enzo Maresca knew what he was doing. In the first half, we control it, and in the second half, we go all attack. Even we were wasteful, yeah. But more importantly, the manager is an intelligent manager. That's what you want from your manager, to know what to do to solve issues quickly. Nkunku, I hope he doesn't come back with them. I love the boys. They are growing in mind, bro. Yeah. Bagume Moses, yeah, they're growing. They're becoming more mature. And you can see that if you understand football. Yep. And Nkunku, 3 words, time to go. I love that one. That would make a good tweet. That. What a disgusting message. Let's see. Are you criticizing your own message? More likes, people. More likes. Another clean sheet. Even people would say because of a team from Poland. When was the last time an English game beat them there at home? Yeah, that's another thing you have to give Maresca credit for. Dante, let's hear you. You know the question I had for you on the table. Have you forgotten? I can't quite remember myself.
Tyrique George, yeah, and Madueke. Tyrique George, yeah, it was good to see him score his first goal. You can see the big smile on his face. He was over the moon. He was so happy, and that's
But
when you
boy,
score
the
your first goal
nerve
like
and
that.
the calmness. If the sort of form that Palmer is on right now, he'd miss that chance. But go ahead.
Maybe the way he's playing, yeah, the passes he was making today, Palmer, like Bobby said, they were very inaccurate all over the place. I don't know not sure what's wrong with him at the moment, but hopefully he snaps out of it very soon. Um, yeah, it was good to see Tyrique George, big smile on his face, scoring that goal. Uh, you'll remember that for a long time, and yeah, you always remember your first goal like that. So that was really nice to see. He played pretty well, and second half for a spell that he was the one playing up front. He was basically playing as the striker, sort of the false nine for a while, and yeah, he did pretty well. I liked his movement. Like you say, he's quite for a young kid. He's pretty intelligent. So yeah, that was really good to see. The Noni Madueke look came on, made the difference, made the runs, got 2 nice tap ins there. Good first goal, nice tap in the second one. We know he can do that. He can score goals, no problem. He's good. He's got a pretty good shot, good finish. I want to see him do what Sancho did though. Be the other guy that does that that movement and assisting the way he did it.
And he
Like you
has
said,
the tools to be able to do that.
yeah. So I want to see that part of the game get his teammates involved to do what Sancho did for him. Those 2 assists because they were very very good assists, both of them. So yeah, look, we know he's a great player. He's still got a long way to go. That side of his game, the selfish side of his game, the tracking back every now and then, the sulking, the tantrums that he's growing. He's young. He's learning. Maresca adopted him. He's put the papers through, so they came through. So he's adopted. It's his adopted son now, so that's fine. So he will be playing a lot more. But yeah, look, he came on, made a difference. That's all you got to ask for him. He came on, made the difference, got the goals. Great first finish. Nice tap
Two
in the
good
second one.
goals, by the way.
2 goals, yeah, made got in the right positions and made the right. Even though it was a tap in, it was a good run between the defenders. He was keeping his eye on the ball, and they've got a good relationship with Sancho. They know each other very well, obviously. And Sancho, you can see Sancho looking for him all the time. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, I want to see Madueke do what Sancho did. That's missing. That's missing from his game. That part completely missing from his game. So he needs to improve that. When he does that, and when he scores with his right foot again, I'll be happy. But he's still got quite a bit to go till he improves that. Hopefully, we see him do it.
And
Um,
and in all honesty, had he been the one that found himself where Sancho was before he
oh, he
passed
would
the
have
ball
shot,
to him, he would have tried to shoot.
of
I'd be
course.
shocked if he passed it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he wouldn't make those passes. The Sancho, how Sancho did that, he wouldn't have. He'd be able to make that pass. He hasn't got that close ball control like Sancho has, and to play with his head up as well. Not many players have that close control that Sancho has, and that ability to keep his head up while he's dribbling with the ball at his feet and have his head up at the same time. That is probably one of the hardest skills in all of football to do, and Sancho has that, and that's why he gets these assists because he can actually do that. Madueke can't do that. That's not his game. He's more of a at pace, ball out in front. He dribbles, cuts back, but he can't do what Sancho does. He doesn't have that
Yeah,
close
they're different.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different. Um, but look, very happy that he scored. Very happy that he won. I don't hate the guy. I don't dislike the guy. I like every Chelsea player. I'm fine with all of them. I'm just talking about their performances and how they play. So no, I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. Yeah, he's just got a lot of improving to do. That's all. And he took another good step today. 2 goals came on, made the difference. So I'm not sure if he got man of the match. I'm not sure who got man of the match actually. Did you guys see who got man of the match today?
I haven't seen it, but it should be. It should probably Madueke should win it.
Yeah, I'd actually probably go. I haven't seen who's got it. I would go Sancho for me because the way he, like I said, the way he created for others, for Dewsbury Hall, he created, which he could have put away. I think, yeah, I think Sancho had the overall game because he played most of the game. I think he had the most impact on the game, in my opinion. I would give it
Yeah,
to him
Noni
just for,
Madueke most definitely from what I'm seeing on
yeah,
FOTMOB, but I don't know. Let's see what UEFA does, but it should be Noni Madueke. The 2 goals,
They might give it to Tyrique George because of his goal.
possibly. But we'll see. I want to find out if you're in the chat. Please, can you help us find out who won the man of the match? Because the FOTMOB one is based on their rating.
yeah. No, that's why I'm not sure who won it. Yeah, a lot of different networks give it to other players, so it just depends on what network you were watching. But yeah, personally for me, I think overall, because he played longer and he played the full game, the longer game, I would give it to Sancho because I think he caused them a lot of trouble even in the first half, and especially in the second half, he caused them a lot of trouble. And he played on the left, and then he played on the right as well, so he did it on both sides. So yeah, I think for me, just personally, I would give it to Sancho. Yeah. Um, yeah, KDH actually had a pretty decent game as well. He actually did well. Probably one
It's
of our
just that he
best
didn't
players in that
score.
first
He
half.
had a good game,
Yeah,
defensively,
just didn't score. If he would
offensively.
have scored those
Yeah,
couple of goals, he had two really good chances. I think he had 4 in total, but 2 really good clean chances there. Yeah, it would have been very different. But yeah, he had a good game. I think he was making those runs in the box, those late runs in the box. He was basically the only attacking player that first half that was making those runs in the box like Enzo does. So yeah, that was good to see. So he's growing a little bit of confidence. I think he had a really good game as well. Jorgensen, I know he didn't do much all game, but I think very important that save in the last minute. I think that was a very important save. When you don't do nothing, you just sit there and you're just watching.
here's why that is difficult.
Yeah,
They haven't tested him in a
exactly.
serious
Yeah,
manner throughout the game. So it takes a lot for him to maintain absolute concentration and not like if you could say just you could say while away with the game as the game progresses and then
Mhm.
lose concentration because he's not been busy. Usually, goalkeepers are sharp at when you keep them busy. So when the goalkeeper
Correct.
makes a
Yeah.
save like that in the game where they haven't been tested in that manner, you have to give them credit, really.
And that's a very important point for me because I think, being 3-1, the score would have been very different 3-1. That gives them hope in the second leg that maybe, they a little bit of hope. So, yeah, great reflex save again, very good reflex save, quick, great save. So that was very good concentration. Like you said, it's very hard to sit there all game, not do nothing, and then make a save like that. So that was good to see. Um, yeah, Achapong, the other one, I think Achapong had a brilliant game. He did really well as a right back, kind of sometimes going in the right center back as well, and then playing in the midfield as well. So he did a he had a bit of a role there that he played pretty much all those three positions at certain times, and I think he did brilliant. He did very well. He's a big kid. He's tall. He's very tall, and he's got those big long legs, and you can see he's very skillful for a tall guy, and especially for a right center back. He's very skillful. He plays a lot of center back at the youth, under 21s and the 19s and that. He plays more center back, but yeah, he was very impressive again. Very composed on the ball, carrying the ball forward. Yeah, he had a great performance, I think, as well.
Both kids that were brilliant. Archibong didn't look out of place at all, and I think this shows that the manager trusts him because a lot of people were thinking the manager was resting players to stand all of them in this game.
Mhm.
It turns out he had other plans, and kudos to Josh. And when he moved to the midfield, also he didn't look out of place. Right, he did move to the midfield.
Yeah.
Am I saying double?
Yeah. He inverted into the midfield as well at times. Correct. So
Yeah.
that's what I said. He played right back. He did a bit of right center back, and then he did a bit of midfield work as well. So he had a good all round performance and played those three positions. And yeah, very very good for a young kid like that to do all those three positions in a big game at a really loud, because it's a really loud stadium. The way they support them there, it wasn't intimidated at all.
It did not intimidate the players. They
It
enjoyed
didn't
themselves.
intimidate him at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was really good to see. But like you said earlier, I think the players are really starting to play together, know the system
And more
much better, and
importantly,
they're
they're
starting to really
maturing
gel.
as players. They're no longer, you don't see that kid as such of, you could say, errors or nervy moments you see from kids. They're maturing as a team. Even
Correct.
when the
Yeah.
younger ones come in, you don't even notice a difference. They don't look out of place. They play with confidence. So much maturity, you won't even know the average age of the team. We've learned, just to take you back a bit, we've learned to control games, which was an issue during the start of the season. But right, the level at which we're playing right now, if we get a goal first, practically you've lost that game because we
Mhm.
know how to control game and defend well these days. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So that was probably one of the major points that I saw, like exactly what you said. Just the calm, the composure, the way we played, playing the system really well, and the young kids, especially like Achapong, like I said, the way he played, yeah, that was amazing to see. And yeah, they're learning to play together. They're gelling, and the system they're more comfortable in, and they know what they have to do. And when it all comes together, it looks very good. So hopefully we continue that now for to finish off the season that way. And yeah, hopefully we see that continuation of the way we play today.
Yeah, we can only get better. And at one thing, I just wish our home fans would start behaving like the Legia Warsaw fans. They're just excellent in my opinion. Let's see what else
Good
we
luck with
have
that
here.
one.
Sorry,
I said good luck with that one.
I mean I have a right to dream, man. What a
Look, they are
performance by
trying.
Josh. Go ahead.
They did that section with the flags, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
Last previous game, and apparently it was much better. They did a section where it was all flags, and it's like a singing sort of section. So they're trying to do it, but yeah, unfortunately, that was the more the youngsters and the more it's not the old heads, not the season ticket holders that sit there with their arms crossed and sing other songs and about the owners and ex players, etc. Those are still a problem, but it was good. It was nice to see a section where they put the flags up, and it was more youth in that section, and they're all singing together. that was good to see. If they can extend that, make it a bit bigger, and continue that, that'll go a long way.
Yeah, let's catch up a bit of what we're
I
having
just
in here.
wanna
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
I just want to add something about the fans. Yeah, I mean, what actually happened to a number of Premier League clubs, especially clubs like Chelsea? And you know, you compare them. You go to these foreign clubs, you know, these clubs on the continent,
Mhm.
and you see their ultras, and how they galvanize the fans and give that vociferousness to their support. You know, they've been there a long time. They've handed their traditions down a long time. But a lot of the Chelsea hardcore, I will call them, if I call them by their real names, it'll evoke some emotions. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to even call some of those names. But Chelsea, yes, you know, Chelsea had a severe reputation with its ultras. They were very prominent in the days of English football violence,
Yep.
and a huge number of them were imprisoned, and so many of them were banished from coming to the stadium. And with the elimination of the hardcore Chelsea came a new wave of fans that were sort of encouraged not to be as severe. And so I don't think the club, in terms of the fan base, it's not easy to get that back. You know, when you have very young people, a lot of people from all sorts of, you know, different parts of the world, it's dampened from those sort of very vociferous, hardcore young men that would stay in the stands and would scream and lead the different songs. Nearly all the songs we sing today came from that era. Many of them have been banned because they were pretty, for want of, let me just be polite and say, rude songs. But this is what's happened. So we're kind of in a fan base evolution. We're trying to teach the new fan base how to support the club. But of course, that sort of identity is handed over years, you know, from one set to the other to the other. And we need to find a new identity with this new crop of fans. You know, you go to the stadium, you see people sitting there like they're in the theater, you know, waiting for something to happen, applauding. You know, you don't get those sort of, you know, fans that will stand up and sing and be vocal from beginning to end. That saddens me because that culture, I think, is needed in football. You know, maybe when we build a new stadium, as we had planned in some of the plans I had seen, there'll be standing areas, and in standing areas, then you'll get the flag waving sort of fans. You know, Roman tried to bring it back in his own way, and he succeeded to some extent because it was Chelsea that introduced the sort of hand flags and that sort of thing, but we need to re-establish our supporting culture. That doesn't mean to say our fans are bad. They are very good. They can be very, you know, noisy, especially away fans in the Premier League are second to none. But that sort of Legia Warsaw type of Dortmund yellow wall type of fan thing, unfortunately went out with the old Chelsea order, most of whom were imprisoned for violence. So I just thought we'll get that perspective and maybe give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back for what has happened with this new crop of fans already. They do well, and when they're in the mood, they can get Stamford Bridge rocking. You know, I've been there on some Champions League nights. Those battles we used to
Yeah, I've been
have
here for a
with,
while.
yeah, with Liverpool, Barcelona. In fact, you don't need a Champions League to get Premier League rocking. To get the fans Stamford Bridge rocking for a game against Liverpool or Man United, but it should be happening like that for every game. So, as much as it's a little bit of an issue, I think sometimes we just have to keep encouraging each other. Do you know what I mean? And we'll get it right.
Yep. Yeah, Dante, something else I wanted us to talk about. I'll start you off with that one. You can also um, venture into other topics you have in mind, like the performances for individual players today. I get it. Gusto didn't get an assist, didn't score a goal, but he was good. He was really, really good. And something I've been telling people, as long as he gets the fundamentals, the basics right, like popping up in spaces and areas and occupying, you can say, helping us gain a numerical advantage against the oppositions, completing triangles to help us keep the ball, the manager will still play him there. That's the most important thing he wants him to do. I think creating chances and scoring goals will follow soon. He's been fulfilling the role well. KJ, nice to see you. Big up, my brother. Hope you're doing well. What else do we have here? So, Dante, I'm handing over to you. I'll be back. Let me just go pick up the boys from school. Just 3 minutes away from here. I'll be back.
No problem. Yeah, I'll just quickly add to Bobby what he said as well. I think the problem is also the age of the supporters at a lot of these games as well. I think it's a much more mature crowd, especially for home games, as in uh, Premier League games, especially the season ticket holders. They're much more mature. There's a lot of older people in the crowd, and you're not going to get that from them, are you? You're not going to get that sort of noise that um, them screaming and singing and doing that. Like you said, they'll clap, they'll this, they'll that. They're not going to do what ultras do and stuff like that. So yeah, that is also a problem. The age, I think the average age is up there close to 60. I think for the season ticket holders. So that is a big issue as well, and that can only come with a new stadium when you get another 30,000 new fans in there, and then there'll be a lot more younger people as well. So otherwise, yeah, you're not going to get that noise, unfortunately. And like you said, it is London. It's a touristy area there. I myself, when I went to games, you see a big difference when you go to a Premier League game and then when you go to a Champions League game. So, because Champions League game, it's not really the season ticket holders; it's more tourists and a lot of other people that just buy the tickets because they are way more expensive. So, and the noise is way louder at a Champions League game. I'm sure you know that, Bobby. You've been, I'm pretty sure you've been as well. So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a different crowd. It's a more youthful crowd, and there's a lot more tourists, but it is louder as well because a lot of more the youth go as well because they buy tickets and they go to those games more. As in the season ticket holders, they don't really go to those games as much to the
Mm.
Champions League's games because they don't obviously have the tickets to go, so they just don't, and they're not going to pay crazy amounts, which tourists do and foreigners that come like myself do. We pay a lot of money for tickets when we come to watch the games because there's not that many tickets available, and you got to, if you want a good ticket, you have to pay for it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So yeah, that is a problem. The actual age of the supporters is a big problem as well, and because it's only 38 to 40,000 supporters, well, yeah, it's you're not going to get that noise with 60-year-olds,
Mm.
70-year-olds, if
Yeah.
over 50,
I,
you're
I,
not going to get that noise and that support the way like ultras do. Because if you see it at ultras and if you see, they're all young, all of them are young, basically. There's not, even in today's game, if you look around the crowd, when they went around the crowd, all I saw was youth. It was all youth, it was all young people. Uh, so
Well, it's
that is a
mostly
big
young
concern.
men. We have to say it as it is. If they are there, they are a lot of the voice. And I get your point. I do admire the efforts of people like, Carefree Lewis, even our DJ,
Yeah, yeah,
Sav.
yeah, yeah.
When they go, you can see them. Unfortunately, sometimes because of what I do there, sometimes I have a vantage point and I can see sections of the crowd, and you can see the young men. Even the infamous what's his name, the guy that Johnny Minerals. All that lot. When they go, they make some noise, and
For the
it's
wrong
good to
reasons,
see.
unfortunately, since the new owners, for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So Yeah, I get you. I think there is validity in what you're saying. You know, the older lot that have held on to their season tickets, you know, unfortunately, you know, we wouldn't want to get rid of them because they have been paying their way. But we
Exactly.
need the younger ones to join in. We need an expansion of the season ticket holders to embrace the youth so that we can start to get some atmosphere. And as you say, it will only come really with a new stadium now.
Yeah, only new stadium, new organization, the seating arrangements, how you're gonna wait. You know, you can sort of spread them out, or you put the older in a different section. Yeah, that's gonna improve a lot. It's hard to do now, but with a new stadium, that's pretty easy to do, and they probably would do that. You know, Bowley and Co. and all the Clear Lake. You know, if they're gonna build a new stadium, they're gonna make it big, they're gonna make it loud, and they're gonna get all that right because it's all about commercial value.
Yeah. They'll
And
get all the acoustics and, you
all
know,
the
the
acoustics,
positioning
they're
of
gonna
the,
get all
yeah.
that right. You know, a lot of screens. They're gonna probably put even add noise, artificial noise. If a lot of the
Yeah.
stadiums do that, artificial noise as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of the American stadiums, I saw that they do that as well. So they're gonna get it right. But yeah, you need a mix. That's one thing I saw when I went to Premier League games. The crowd's very mature, very old. A lot of the crowd in many
Yeah.
sections. So yeah, it's hard to ask them to do that. It's just not,
No,
they're
you
not gonna
can't do that. You know,
they're not
they
gonna
do
do that. It's
deserve to
it's
be
hard
there.
to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard to ask them to do that. But the only
But they
solution is a
need
new
to add
stadium.
to it. You know, get the
Yeah, you
youth
gotta add to
in
it. Correct. Yeah.
and they
So,
will
yeah, that's
take
definitely a
over.
change that needs to come, and hopefully they'll sort out a new stadium somehow, and, we get that move because I think that's way, way overdue. A club like Chelsea needs to have a big stadium, and, they need to have the best stadium in London, basically. They should be number 1 stadium in London.
Yeah, it's you know, the whole shall I say the hurdles involved with the Chelsea stadium is it's almost comical, to be honest. It to me it seems very clear with each passing day that we will have to move, but we have all these guys that want to be stuck in the old days. I understand that, but if the old place can't be expanded, we move. And one thing I think that people are not really looking at is that this ownership, if they get a site that they really, really, really like, they may hold on to Stamford Bridge as well. Do you know what I'm
Correct, yeah.
saying? You know, like Real Madrid, they have their training stadium and they have their proper stadium. You know, although Stamford Bridge is rather large for a training stadium, but they might keep it and maybe use it for the women's team and the youth teams and so on. So I'm not sure they would get rid of it, and I think it might be a good selling point, especially if they're able to get hold of somewhere like Earl's Court, a good selling point to the pitch owners and say, hey, look, you know, we will still have Stamford Bridge. It's just that we need a larger space for the first team to be playing in, and we've got to have somewhere else. So if there's still that link, it might soften a few more of the hardened heads towards
Yeah.
staying at Stamford Bridge.
The
Um,
only problem with that, Bobby, is what I've seen, and I've talked to quite a lot of season ticket holders. I have quite a lot of followers that I had, and I've talked to them. They do not want to do it just because it's these American owners, and it's Clear Lake, and they don't trust them, and that's the reasoning behind it. That they would never allow them to move and build a bigger stadium because they don't trust them.
they
Uh,
don't trust them to do what exactly? They think
to
they
build a
would
new
do what?
stadium and spend the funds correctly, they think they don't trust them with Chelsea, basically, with the name and with the money.
That's ridiculous. Now,
That's what I got from most of the
if
ticket holders I
I
got.
know
I was
I
very
hear you
surprised.
because I've heard
Yep,
that argument as well. But if, for
yep.
example, they hold on to Stamford Bridge, still keeping on to the historical relic that is the heart and soul of what Chelsea is and was, I just think it's very retrogressive. I think there
It
are
is.
some people that lack an expansive mind and this sort of fear mongering,
Well, you
oh,
see
they're
Kimso
out
in
to
the
get
chat. He's
us.
saying, "I don't trust Clear Lake. They are not wrong." So he's agreeing with it as well. So people in the chat are agreeing with that as well. Just because Clear Lake, they don't trust them with the money, what they're gonna do. They don't think it's in Chelsea's best interest that they will use the money right and build the right stadium and blah blah blah, which is just ridiculous.
It
Because
is ridiculous. The club has to be owned by someone, and they're so. I loved Roman Abramovich just like the next person. But to be honest, he was getting, shall I say, outmuscled on the financial point of view. So
Mhm.
this sort of deal was inevitable. It's just the way it happened was horrible. It was, they ripped him. He didn't make any money,
Of course,
and it
yeah,
was
yeah,
rushed.
yeah,
It was a fire sale, but it had to happen. Football is all about the big money coming in to hold up the club and their projects and their. So I think a lot of fans are unrealistic, and we have some people that just like to complain for complaining's sake. And what doesn't help is when we're not winning, when we're going through a bad period. I mean, if we like get into the Champions League and win this trophy and, have a good run and possibly by some miracle win the World Club Cup, I can assure you the entire mood will change and the acceptance of what these people want to do might start to buckle a bit. Like
mhm.
at Strasbourg. The Strasbourg ultras were kicking and screaming, "Oh, we don't want to be Chelsea's little puppy," and so on and so forth. And when they see the kind of players Chelsea are filtering through them and what it's doing for the club, they're slightly less vociferous now. Some are still screaming, but some of them are saying, "Hang on a minute, let's have a look and see what's going on here."
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah, they're
funny.
doing very well for Strasbourg, of course. Yeah, very well. Yeah,
It's
look,
fun.
it's a hot topic. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But once you need that hate to go away for the owners first, because otherwise, if that's still there, like I'm seeing on X, and I'm sure you're seeing, people want Chelsea to lose just so Maresca can get out, just because Clear Lake hired him, and they want Clear Lake to follow. So it's all about the ownership, which is pretty sad to be honest, because you should support
It is.
Chelsea and the players and the manager. Don't worry about the owners. The owners actually, it's not like they're not investing money into the club. They're actually investing quite a lot of money, and they've invested a lot of money. And like Coach keeps saying, you need to win to make money. You need to win. You can't get relegated or be 14, 15 position. You're not making any money. So it's a
Well,
silly argument, but hey, hopefully, like you say, hopefully we just keep going the right way, keep winning, and time heals wounds, hopefully. So, and if
well,
we keep
quieten
winning and
some people.
improving,
You'll
hopefully that
quieten
changes.
most people, not everybody, because there
Not
are
everybody.
those that are invested. They've made hours of
The minerals will
content.
not change.
Yeah, I don't. You'll never change. You'll just keep on and on and on and on. And even when he's wrong, he'll act as if he's right. So, um, yeah, it is sad. It is sad. It's very childish. I don't know where the sentiment comes from. I have my suspicions, but it's not even worth
No,
speculating. I want to get back to the match a little bit
let's get back
because
to the
there's
game.
a question I had. I mean, how did you find Badiashile? Because for me, he kind of caught my eye.
Yeah.
He made some decent forward runs. He exhibited his repertoire of passing, which is his strength. He wasn't defensively the clumsy Badiashile that we have come to shudder and see sometimes. He's heading the ball out, he's winning the last ditch breakaway tackles, and I thought he had a good game. But I wanted to put the question to you because sometimes
Mhm.
I find I only watch the defenders when they do something that's
Mhm.
worth watching, and you tend to sort of ignore some of the finer points, which is really what their game is all about. But I felt all round he was very solid today.
Yeah, I think out of the defenders, he was the standout, probably defender that probably defended the best and looked calm, composed, very confident, which I haven't seen that for a long time. Like you said, you didn't
Yeah.
have those bozo moments. He did one at the right at the end. He kind of had a bit of a loose pass, but otherwise, he was pretty much perfect the whole game. He was taking on, turning back, turning to the left, turning to the right, passing left, passing right, long balls, short balls. He was absolutely doing everything. That was the old Badia Shield that we saw 2, 3 years ago when he signed, playing
Yeah.
next to Thiago Silva. That was the Badia Shield we saw that everyone thought he was gonna, develop into. And today he was back for some reason. He was there today. He was confident. Like you said, he played. He looked really good. I haven't seen that better show in a very long time. So that was good to see. He was one of the standout. We started the show about talking about him, that he was one of the standout players. Uh, in my opinion, he was the best defender. He did everything, like you said, aerially. Going forward, did absolutely everything. But just the confidence, I haven't seen
Mm.
that from him to do that. He turned 2 or 3 times in between two attackers, just calmly, and then passed the ball off, laid it off. He looked like he could see with everything around him. So I have not seen that better. Like I said, only when he played with Potter at the start, when he played with Thiago Silva next to him, and we said, "Wow, okay, we signed a nice young player here that can develop and that's gonna, become hopefully become, like like a Thiago Silva eventually." But
Yeah.
yeah, today, out of nowhere, out of it just came back. So it was good to see that it's still there because we haven't seen it in a long time, and I thought it was gone. I haven't seen it, and I thought that's it. He's finished. He's he was one of the players I put down on the list that he probably should leave at the end of this season, in my opinion, because it's been 2 years now, basically. He hasn't done it. It's just he hasn't done it. He hasn't got the best run at it, but he still hasn't done it. Every time he's played, he has, especially in the Conference League against really bad opposition at the start of the Conference League. He was horrible. He was probably our worst defender out of most of those games, making mistakes, uh, leading to goals, just looking couldn't put a pass together, wasn't winning any challenges, was falling down, going to ground, which you don't see much from him. He was all over the place. And I'm like, yep, this guy, unfortunately, this is his third year now. That's enough. He probably needs to leave at the end of the season. Today, like you said, out of nowhere, bang, amazing performance, looked confident, looked fit, looked very good. Now it is okay. It is Legia was that they didn't really attack us much. We pinned them back, so he didn't have that much to do. But when he did it, he did it. It was amazing what he did. So hopefully that continues, and then I think he's still got a future at this club. But if he goes back to his old ways, and then the next game he starts and he does another, he has more his bozo moments, and he's not putting any passes together, not defending well. Well, then yeah, I think it's not enough. This game is not enough for me. I think he still needs to go into the season. But if he continues that, well, then we can have another conversation. I'm not sure what you think about that, Bobby.
Yeah, I think you're right. To me, I think you see, Chelsea Football Club has got to have squad depth, in my opinion. I see someone like Badia Shield as a player that, if he's going to play in the Premier League, he's got to rotate because he's never really gotten over his injuries. And that's what has led to a lot of his bad displays. If you notice, the first time he came back from long-term injury, he had an absolute stinker. I think that was under Pochettino even. So
Yeah.
now you said one major thing. He looks fit, and looking fit helps with the play. And it's not that, we're judging him on Legia Warsaw. No, he had stinkers with lesser teams. So
Well,
he
he
has
played all the Conference League games basically at the start. He had 4 or 5 games in a row where he played. He was pretty bad in all
really
of them.
bad, yeah. And
And I
that's
don't think it was a
because
fitness issue because he looked fit. I think, yeah, I thought he's lost that feeling, that maybe that love for the game. Who knows what happens off field with a lot of these players? People don't consider that, but they are human beings. Stuff that happens off the field can affect them. So I thought he just lost it. Like that's it, finished. But this was the first time I saw him. Wow, okay, he still actually got it. he hasn't lost it. He's still got it. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was injury related. You know, these injuries sometimes it takes a lot for you to get back to your stride, and I think it affected him. I really do, especially his first big injury. That he was out for nearly a season. In fact, it was a season. I think it affected him. But yeah, I mean, you know, there needs to be a consistency in this sort of performance. But today he did himself no harm. Now, is he still capable of a bozo moment? I don't know. I didn't get that feeling today, but usually in games, even when he's kind of does well, you think, oh gosh, he could, you know, have a slip over or get the ball tangled in his feet or something. But he looks solid now. So I hope that will continue. And I sort of caught because I joined you guys later, I caught the end of what you guys were saying about was it Colwell coming on for Tosin?
Yep, yep.
Was there some injury? What was the
We don't know. We haven't heard yet. I haven't looked. I haven't had time to go to see what Maresca said after the game. But you were talking about it. It was a bit surprising that happened because he was having a really good game toss and he didn't put a foot wrong. So we were assuming that it was maybe he had a niggle or it didn't feel real good or something. Because I didn't see why you would change the center half. Why Colwell needed to play, to be honest, to come on. So um, we just assume that, but we're not sure. We have to wait. If anyone knows in the chat, if they saw the after, if anyone asked the question, let us know. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Why he would change him? It didn't really make sense for a centre back. You don't really change him. You don't really change that, to be honest. Not when he was playing really well as well. He was actually passing the ball like Badiashile, playing really well.
another player I was glad actually got a rest was Chalobah. He's another one. If you overplay him, you're pushing it with him. But if you keep him fresh, he can, you know, he can be
He's
very
not. I
solid
don't
for
think
you
he's registered, Bobby, for the.
for this competition.
Yeah, I
But
don't think they.
he travelled with them.
Did he try? I can't remember if he's one of
Yeah,
the ones.
he was
Fofana's
there.
not registered.
He was
Um,
pitch side.
yeah, well,
Now
they
that may
travel.
not
Yeah, they
mean
go.
anything. Yeah,
I don't know if he's. I can't remember. I think he was one of him and Fofana. I can't remember. Those two are not registered, if I remember right. I can't. I'm not sure. I have
it's
to see.
Lavia that's not registered.
And
Yeah,
Lavia's not registered either. Yeah, yep, yep. Um,
Fofana isn't because of his
yeah.
injury,
So
and I'm
we
not
don't know
sure
what.
about
Yeah,
Chalobah.
looks like no one's put that. No one knows exactly why why Tosin came off. I'm sure we'll hear about it, but I could only assume that it was maybe a little niggle or something. I don't see any tactical reason to do it, to be honest, because he's just as a good passer, if not better. So, and he was marshalling the defense. He was comfortable. He was playing well. Any balls came, he was winning everything in the air. So, I don't see why he would come off. And Colwell to bring Colwell on, it would. I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see why. A tactical reason. You never know with Maresca. It's something he saw, but yeah, it's unlikely. I think maybe he just didn't feel well or had a little niggle or who knows what. But the substitutions, the rest of the substitutions, I think he got pretty much spot on. It was good to see Amagu get a bit of the game time and Mueka as well come on for the last 20 minutes. So that was good to see them come on as well. So I think he got it. I think the game plan and the substitutions and everything was spot on. Like we talked about earlier on the show, you wanted to control that first half, pass it around, keep the ball, and then sort of at the end of that first half, he switched it up a bit. He went to a 2-2-5-1, which is the ultra attacking formation he uses, and really pinned Legia back. And really, they had no answer and started the second half. He saw that there's an advantage there, obviously brought on some more attacking players and really went at them. And really, they didn't have a shot on target till the 89th minute, I think, when Jorgensen made that save. And I think they had one after that in the 92nd minute or something. But yeah, it worked. Yeah, everything was pretty much spot on today.
Yeah, he showed that he had indeed done his homework on this team. When he was saying in his press conference that he had seen them play 6 times, I thought, oh, he's just trying to rattle them a bit, but it showed. I believe he really did watch 6 of their games, because
Oh yeah.
it was quite clear that he had their number from beginning to end.
Well, a team like them, they don't come up against teams that many like us, especially a formation like that. They don't really receive that. So they were shocked a bit that we went that attacking, especially that second half, end of first half, but all of that second half till the end, they were a bit shocked. I think they weren't expecting quite that attacking 2-2-5-1. They were pinned back. They couldn't do nothing. We hadn't. Yeah, it was pretty comfortable after at the end. That's why I said that Jorgensen save was really key in my opinion, because doing nothing all game, just watching basically cold. Uh, you just saw him doing absolutely nothing at the back there, and then to pull off that save. And it's important. One goal, and it's one goal, but 3-1, it just gives them a little bit of hope that they can come to Saffron Bridge and 2-0 or something. So yeah, that was very important.
Yeah, it was. It was.
What
And
did you think
it's
of? How did you think Reece James played today? How did you think he went?
I thought he did all right. I'm glad they found a position that doesn't exert him too much and allows him to keep building on whatever fitness he can have. I think he was pretty solid. They did sit back a lot of the time that he was there, but he had work to do, and he didn't come up short. He was winning his tackles. He made most of his passes. Did a lot of his dribbles correctly. I couldn't complain about his performance at all. I didn't notice that. In fact, that's one thing I did do say. I feel Maresca got very right. I'm always concerned about his midfield, but this time he seemed to have it right. Even with KDH,
I
not
was gonna
my
say
favorite
KDH,
player.
sure.
Yeah, but yeah, he occupied positions that he should be. His finishing a bit skewed, but you can't blame him too much for that. They weren't easiest of chances that he had, and he was lively with James behind him. Um, the third midfielder, which was Palmer, was a little disappointing by his very high standards, but Maresca didn't get the midfield wrong at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, like I said, KDH I think had a probably one of the better players in that first half. He was basically playing that Enzo role where he was crashing the box, the only one really crashing the box, and Kunku was nowhere to be seen. And he was crashing the box, and he had a couple of really good chances to score. I think he had four chances, two really good chances. One of them I think he should have scored. The other one was half half. There was a really good header as well that he could have probably done much better with, but he was getting in the right positions. He was running all over. He looked full of energy. He was tackling. He was running back when if they got the ball, he was winning it back. He was probably one of the more liveliest players on the field. So that was good to see. Yeah, him putting another good performance in. I know you don't like him too much, but hey, at least he's improving, and we need him for games like this so we can rest Caicedo, Enzo. It's perfect. So yeah, he had a pretty good game. I think he was really good performance. Nothing special, but he had a really good performance. The only one, like I said, crashing the box really, and especially in that first half, the only one doing anything sort of offensively. So back to Reece James.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he played pretty well again. I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable playing in that, inverting into that midfield and playing that DM role. The only little probably thing I wasn't happy with, and I kept at the screen and saying, please shoot the ball, Reece James. You've got a bullet, and the only time he shot the ball, what happened? Well,
It was blocked, wasn't it?
he was blocked, and Tyrique George scored.
Scored, yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the so anyway, he was in such good position so many times because we were so up the field. So he was playing the DM, but he was more like like a 10 almost many times and receiving the ball. I'm like, just receive the ball. He was receiving that ball in that central area. Just shoot. You've got such a really strong shot, left, right. You can smash them. Just have a shot, and he didn't shoot at all. I was like, why aren't you shooting? So I was criticizing him. I was yelling at the screen a little bit. I'm like, come on, shoot. We know you. We saw it in the previous round. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. When you shoot, you pretty much get him on target, and he puts a lot of power behind him. We didn't test that goalkeeper, so I'm like, shoot, shoot, shoot. Finally, at the end of the first half, there he had that shot, and we scored from it. Tyrique George got the goal from it because he put the keeper under pressure and he had to make a save. It was actually a good shot. He had power. It was low to the right. The keeper had to make a save, and we got a goal from it. So that's probably the only criticism I had in the game. I want him to shoot a lot more, especially when he's that high up the pitch in that central area. Shoot, please stop passing it sideways, and not when you're open and when you can take a step forward and just have a go, have a shot. Like, I understand the rest of it, but when he's in that position, that high up, when he's back, obviously, I don't expect him to do that. But when he's in that position, I was like, oh, come on, please shoot more. Yes, I was a bit disappointed. He really wasn't looking for like the shot. So that was nitpicking, but we know what a shot he has and how good he's at shooting. And most of the time, he hits the target and he hits it with power as well. So it's always going to put pressure on a goalkeeper. So that was the only criticism I had. But I think he's looking a bit more comfortable and he's learning that position a bit better. Again,
He
he
has
wasn't really under
he
that. Yeah, he wasn't
he
under
has
that
played
much
it
pressure.
before. He has
But
been a
as he's
midfielder.
growing into that position a little bit more. Came off earlier again, so we're looking after him, managing his minutes. That's a big bonus. The more games he gets into his legs, game after game after game, even if it's 50, 60 minutes, well, that's just going to help.
Now I have to talk about Nkunku again.
Oh no.
People are saying he's not interested. I don't believe that. I believe he's a confidence player and he's lost confidence. I think, he can't not be interested because he's playing high profile games and he's a high profile player. So there can't be complaints there. And the complaints of, oh, um, I'm not a striker. Well, I like Coach, do believe there was a time he was saying that, yes, it's not his position, but he's very happy to play it. And I think at his level and with his capability, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. His problem is he is not scoring, he's barely even trapping the ball properly these days.
Well, you saw the shot he
He
had in the game. He had that shot that was like, what type of shooting was that? That looked like
Yeah.
Sunday League shot. I'm not sure if you remember the shot he had.
To me, he definitely looks like a player that's lacking confidence at the moment. And especially after he missed that penalty, you saw his whole body language after missing it, and he drifted even further away from the game. Nkunku needs a goal or two to start to believe in his ability again. I really think that.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean he's going to be here next season? I don't know. Probably not. But I think for now, he is a professional and he will want to, especially with all the French side thing and all that, he will want to make the best of the opportunities he has. I don't think it's a disinterest thing. It's definitely a confidence thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. I know Coach keeps saying that he's definitely disinterested. He's been disinterested since, especially not leaving, obviously in January, and after that, I think he's just that type of player. Even back when I saw him, yeah, he was a little bit sharper, but let's not forget he was much younger before, so that's different. He's 27 now. He's not really the younger. He's getting into that. He's in the middle of his prime basically. So he's not a young winger that he was when he was 21, 22 at Leipzig. That was a different player. He's not that player anymore. Uh, but for the last few years, I think he's just that he's got that look. I think it's more that look and the way he plays. He plays a bit slower, but he's got that look as well where he doesn't really smile as much. He's not really like a happy player. So it makes it look that way. But yeah, I'm not sure that he's disinterested. I think it's just his demeanor, the way he looks, the way he plays. It's what he is basically, how he looks. I think it's more demeanor than actually confidence as well. Obviously, 100% confidence. But I don't think it's disinterest, because if it was disinterest, Maresca would not be starting him games at all. He would not be starting him games. He's seen him in training all week. He's obviously training hard. He's You have to be at a certain level to start, and he has to pass a fitness test and run do the beep test. Now you have to be at a level. You cannot be disinterested and not play. So I think it's confidence, like you say, system a little bit as well is not helping him. But when you can't shoot and you can't hold the ball up and you can't, that's nothing to do with system. I'm sorry. Yeah. So today again,
Exactly.
it's nothing to do with system today. So
Exactly. A penalty
you
miss
need
has
to.
nothing to do with the system.
No,
So
it's
I
not,
agree.
because he's basically playing in that second half when we started. He was basically playing the second striker. Tyrique George was playing as the man up front. So he was playing his favorite position, and he did not make a difference. And he's done that throughout the season. He's drifted into that second striker position all the time. But when you can't shoot, you don't not getting a shot on target, you're not shooting, you're shooting really bad, you're not passing right, you're not pressing right. Well, then yeah, there's obviously confidence there, but it's an interesting one. We don't know behind the scenes. Like I said, a lot of players, they're human. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes, so we don't know what's going on 100%. But there's definitely something not quite right with him. Maresca still started him now. He started him in the Conference League. He's obviously saying, he's in the interview said he's training really good. He's passing all the tests. He's doing well. So he's actually training good, doing all the work. Maresca's starting him because of that. Maresca would not start him if he was disinterested. And
No,
I don't think he's that type of coach. He would just play Mueka or someone like he did early in the season. He wouldn't play him. He
no,
just wouldn't play him. I,
you
that's
wouldn't.
that's why Felix is not there. That's why Vega's not there. A lot of them are not there. If he was completely disinterested, I think he would not play him. Simple as that. He doesn't care that it's in Kunku.
I think you're right. I think Nkunku needs a goal. The goal he got, was it against Leicester? I think it
Yeah,
did. You could see, it kind of put a spring in his step, but not enough, because after that he went to fluffing chances,
exactly. That was
misplacing
just a glimpse.
passes.
It was a little glimpse that we thought, oh, maybe he's back. But since then, basically, hasn't done nothing. And it's not like he hasn't got
Right.
the chance, because he's been playing with Jackson out, and he's been getting 2 starts as well, and a lot of
Yeah.
game time. So it's not like he can't complain that he's not playing. He's been playing a lot, but he's just
Yeah.
not doing nothing. No shots on target, no attempts on target, nothing. And when you're playing that striker position, second striker, even in the box today, like I said, it was all KDH in the box. Like where was he in the box? He's not making those runs. Yeah, look, something's completely up with him. It is what it is. I don't think he'll be here. I just don't see there's a chance him being here at the end of the season. I think he will leave. Um, you can't hold on to a player like that, especially a player. He's a bit higher salary, one of the more experienced players, if not one of the most experienced players, basically at 27. So yeah, I think he will be moved on, and it's probably what's best for him and probably for the club. That's what matters. So we'll see what develops there. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on. It's a bit of everything. I think it's a bit of confidence. It's a bit of maybe a little bit of not quite disinterest, but maybe a little bit mentally in the back of his mind. It's a little bit of everything, and when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. A bit like Palmer. Palmer's kind of been playing the same way, hasn't he? The last
Yeah. Yeah.
10 to 12 games, basically. Palmer hasn't done hardly anything either. So it's, like you said, he's probably not disinterest. It's just his body language. And I've looked at
It's
him last year,
form.
and that he's that type of player. His body language has always been a bit more like that. He doesn't really smile. He's a bit slower. It's just his demeanor. That's how he looks. So it makes it, so when he's not doing well, it makes it look 10 times worse.
Well, if he does want to leave, the only thing now that's making him a sellable asset is his name, because anybody watching the way he's playing will not want him, I'll tell you that, especially for the kind of wages he commands. So if he wants to leave, he has to play and play
Yes.
well. And yeah, I think it's just form, confidence, And will he get it back? Well, time will tell. Definitely, he will be getting the game time. He's been
He
getting
will, yeah.
them, and now that
Especially Conference
we're
League, yeah, he'll get. He's been
yeah,
starting pretty much every game Conference League, so
yeah.
he,
So
he's
he needs to buckle up. Cole Palmer is a young player. I think what's happened to him is just youth.
well. That's exactly.
You,
That's I was gonna say. That's the big difference. 21 to 22 to 27 is big difference.
yeah,
He's not
you
a
can
seasoned vet.
lose
You picked him
form.
because he's pretty much a seasoned vet now at 27, 28 nearly.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I don't know where coach is, but
Yeah, he's
I'm
picking up
pretty
his boys.
much.
That's fine. Do you need to go, Bobby, or you're okay?
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty much. I've got some calls to make and a couple of
Okay.
things to
No,
do. It's 9:30 in the night here, so
yeah, it's
uh,
only 6 a.m. now here. Yeah, it was a bad time for me. It was
it's
2:45 a.m. kickoff for the game, so it was like yeah, up all night pretty much. That's fine. If you need to go, we can wrap it up. No problem. I can coach will shut it down. No problem. If you need to go, no problem.
sure, sure. Well, tell him that. What time's the game on Sunday? You wouldn't know UK time. You'd be Australian time.
Yeah, I'm not sure UK time for you guys. I have no idea what time. I
But
know it's an early kickoff because it's 11 p.m. here, so it will be a very early, probably a midday kickoff for you guys.
yeah, sounds like a 2 o'clock one. Now that's
Yeah.
something coach needs to do a pre and post game because that's an important one. And he's not been
Ipswich
doing
and the
that
way we
with
played
Premier
against
League
Ipswich last
games.
time. Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
important that game.
Are you
to be
guys
honest,
gossiping about me?
yeah, we're saying the Ipswich game. You definitely need to do a pre and post. And to be honest, just
as
before I
long as
go,
He was there all
yeah, we
along.
will,
He actually
we
didn't go
will.
anywhere. He's just pretending to go. He was
just
there all along. He just put it on.
just
He was there
just
just listening. Feet up,
just
probably eating, drinking. Who knows what he's been doing?
and chilling.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Just before I go quickly, yeah. As for Ipswich, I know we're going to talk about it with time, but because it was a bad game, really, in terms of the result. People forget what actually happened. If we had had our scoring boots on, it would have been very, very different. And this time, we can't let them get away with that. We've got to go all out and punish them. If we put them under as much pressure as we did it at their place, they scored through a couple of breakaways and they're very good at the breakaways, but really we should not have lost that game. So we've got to make up for that, and
I think they were
we'll see
just
what
more
happens.
clinical than us on that day.
They
I'm
were
still looking
definitely,
here. Yeah. Mhm.
Just the
definitely
game
few.
plan. I think that was one of the games that Maresca didn't get right
No,
tactically, in my opinion. So that's why I think this is a very big game for him because that was one of the games that I think he got out. The opposition coach really got to
Yeah.
him and really he got beat that day tactically. So that was
yeah.
one of my games that I thought it was really disappointing. So that's why I say I think it's a big game because of that. And I want to see how he's going to approach this one and what he's going to do. Because Ipswich have got nothing to lose, they'll probably do the same. And because they
Oh,
really just need,
they don't want to get relegated, so they're going to come out smoking.
well,
When
they
there's
need
a
three
chance,
points.
there's
So
a
for them,
fight. Yeah.
there's no point. 1 point is not enough for them. They need to win these last games. So that's
Have
what I
they been
mean.
relegated already?
No, but
No,
they're still going to come out
So they
fighting
will
because
risk a lot.
there's yeah.
well, they need
They
three
will risk
points.
everything, actually.
Of course they
But
will, and they did.
we
They did in that game against us.
yeah.
If you remember, Coach, it was the one where they trapped us in, and Sanchez was only playing long balls, and they were winning every long ball back and coming back and attacking. It. They should have had quite a few more goals against us in that game as well. So that was one of those games that I think he got quite wrong tactically, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I don't know
guys,
you were if
I've got
go
to
ahead.
go.
All right.
I've
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
Bobby.
Bobby, thank you for joining us.
yeah.
Dante, I don't know if you still have more time. And thank
See
you to
you
the legendary.
on Sunday. Is it
All right. All right. See you.
when you're streaming again?
All right, we'll stream on Sunday. So if you're in the chat session, if you have any questions, throw it. None that we still have Dante here. If he goes, I'm gonna pretend I don't see your questions. And Jimmy Case is saying that second half, I think Maresca said, "Forget my tactics, lad. Just go play ball." So Noni changed the game.
No,
Anyway, you're entitled to your opinion. Everything we did was down to Maresca. The approach, everything that has to do with the approach, down to how Maresca wants us to play, and it worked. And we knew, Dante knew, we did talk about it during the pregame show, it was going to be a boring one. And it was to some, but it wasn't boring to me because I understood what was going on. I knew in the second half it'd be a different ball game. And I looked at this Dante, something else, I don't know if you guys have talked about him. Philip Jorgensen, he's so ice cold on the ball. I get it. People are leapfrogging him and mentioning what's the guy on loan at Strasbourg? He's a much better
Petrovic.
goalkeeper than Petrovic, in my opinion. I remember when we were on the verge of completing the deal that brought him to Chelsea, we did look at their numbers. He was one of the top performing goalkeepers in La Liga that the season before he came to us, and he important metrics. He did beat both Sanchez and Petrovic, and some metrics that we realized at the time were important to Maresca. I think all he needs to do is just to play more, and we've said that before. Eventually, he'll become the number one shot stopper. He's so young, not as experienced as Sanchez. Maybe that's the reason why probably Sanchez is starting over him because he's more experienced. But he showed today once again. I know his accurate long balls zero. Didn't attempt any long balls actually. He was all close,
No, yeah,
but
I was gonna
he
say there
was
was no long balls.
yeah, yeah. So he was perfect, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we talked about that. It's really hard when you sit there in the cold doing nothing, especially for a goalkeeper. Really cold, sitting there doing nothing, and then right at the end, they have a shot. You have to be switched on. You have to be, like you said, you have to be really, prepared. You have to have the reflexes, and you got to be ready mentally, especially mentally. And we know that's one problem where Sanchez struggles a lot mentally in a lot of situations.
Lack of
He's not
you could say lack of proper concentration, lose lapses, lots of lapses in concentration, and but go ahead, what you were saying.
exactly concentration at key moments. He doesn't when to come out, when not to come out, when to dive there, when to do that. Even in the game against Brentford, I mean, if that wasn't a foul against Caicedo, well, that was a big error from him. He he was indecisive. He went down way too early, and the ball went underneath his arm, and the ball went in. So yeah, again, right in those moments, lapse of the concentration costs us. Well, it's cost us 5 goals all season, so it has cost us. It's there. So yeah, I think if Sanchez was sitting there in goal all game and then he had to make that right at the end, I think that would have been a different outcome. Yeah, so it's not much, but yeah, it's impressive when he has to do that.
I don't know how Nkunku finished with a rating of let me see that again. He's rated better than Copama, but maybe he did better than Copama. But boy, you could see that he's lost his confidence actually. Honestly,
Yeah,
7.1, even though he missed a penalty. But I knew he was gonna miss that penalty
yeah,
because I've
so do
already
I.
seen he lacks confidence. Yeah.
When players step up like that and they look up and they look down, just like Palmer did a few weeks ago, looking down and then sort of looking up really nervously, not knowing like where to put the ball, well then yeah, most of the times you're going to miss those penalties, and that's exactly what Nkunku did as well. It was a pretty poor penalty if you look at it from behind the goal. It was a bit to the left there,
But
just
some
central a
still
bit.
some credit to the goalkeeper.
No, coach, that's an easy save for a goalkeeper. That's a very easy save. You just yeah, but the body language when Nkunku took it, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you can see he wasn't sure, and he put his head down, and then he looked up. He was very nervous. So yeah, he wasn't confident at all. So did you hear us talk with Bobby about that, or you didn't hear anything?
No, I wasn't here. I had to do other things plus picking the boys up. I wasn't here,
Okay, yeah.
seriously.
We talked about Bobby wanted to talk about that exact topic about Nkunku. So we talked about that for like 10, 15 minutes about that. So Bobby thinks it's just a confidence issue. It's not a disinterest or anything. It's all confidence. He thinks once he scores again, he'll be back. Should be pretty good. But he thinks it's a full confidence issue mostly. Where I know
Yeah,
you're about. You think it's disinterest as well?
No, no, no. Today's case was confidence. And remember, when I first talked about him, I did mention I used to think it was just him not, you could say, being off-minded, for lack of a more specific or accurate language. There, that the way he played showed he lacked confidence. There are instances that proves, yeah, it was a confidence issue mainly, not necessarily him not being at Chelsea in the flesh, for biblical term, or I don't know, as
But
you know.
I
But
remember you did say it many times that you think he's tuned out and his head somewhere else. He's not. You've said
he
that
did
many
come
times.
across as such in some of the games he's played.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know anything else you want us to talk about, Dante. It looks like, yeah, you guys covered everything.
we covered everything pretty much. I went through by most of the pretty much every player we've covered. We went through every player, so we've kind of covered everything. Unless there's something you want to bring up, anything that
Nothing
you
else
think
comes
is
to
interesting.
mind. Drewsbury Hall, a rating of 8.6, even though he missed some good chances, in my opinion. He had a good game. I think he's improving. And it's, you could say his games, he's been in an upward trajectory. He's been improving game after game. The only thing he didn't get to there was a goal. Reece James proves again. Maresca knows exactly what he's doing, playing him in the midfield. He was the
Yeah,
reason why we were able to control that game. Heston, um, and he did put in some, again, he won a lot of tackles actually, I think,
ADH.
off the bat. He won good tackles. One was he showed his the physical side to his game. He practically muscled the guy off the ball. A
Yeah,
lighter, you can say Caseda, I don't think as good as he is in terms of putting in tackles and winning the ball. That particular instance, and I'm trying to picture right now, I don't think Caseda would have won the ball back.
yeah. No, he's stronger. He's
Yeah,
stronger.
yeah,
He's
definitely.
stronger. Definitely, you can see like just the way he's built, and yeah, you can by his legs, you can tell he's a bit stronger. He's got that core. He's much stronger in the core down the bottom.
A
So
lot
yeah,
of meat.
he's got a bit of extra meat in there, so he's a little bit stronger, definitely.
Okay, let's look at his numbers. If you have any other player you want us to look at the numbers, we do so and round off as quickly as possible. This year he plays he played 58 minutes. The manager had to take him off because he got the job he wanted him to do. He got it done effectively. Total shots, two accurate passes, 63 out of 67. That's 94% pass accuracy. He did really well, honestly. Chances created, three chances created. I remember one was for Drewsbury Hall, right? I think
Yes, yeah,
so. Yeah. So let's just down to attack. Shots on target, 1 out of 2, 50% touches, 78 in total. Successful dribbles, 2 out of 2. Passes into the final third, 6 accurate crosses, 2 out of 3. Accurate long balls, 1 out of 2. Corners taken, 3. Dispossessed 1 time. What else? Defense didn't attempt any. That one maybe didn't count as a tackle. The one I was referencing,
it was
clearance
more,
is one.
yeah, because he just pushed him off, so it wasn't really a tackle. Yeah,
He just shielded the ball effectively, but I thought
yeah,
that guy was going to go away with the ball. Yeah, interceptions one, defensive actions two, recovers five. Which one was that? Dribbled past 0 times. Dues won 3, dues lost 1, grand dues won 3 out of 4, 75%. That's excellent, really. Was fouled 1 time. So he actually enjoyed it. I think it's gonna be him playing in that central area is gonna go a long way for us. He's an
yeah,
intelligent player, has the experience, reads the game very well from an offensive and defensive perspective, and also can help us control the game just like he's proven. And on this is like the third time in Europe that he's done that. And I get it. People that don't understand football will argue boring. And I've seen still some people saying, I think it was Darko saying that this is the worst football he's seen as a Chelsea fan. I think probably he does that because he knows it gets him the clicks, and he knows better than to say it was a poor performance. But go ahead, what you're saying.
no, no, that's he actually believes it because he has hate for Clear Lake and Maresca, so he means it, coach. Don't worry about that. Um,
Okay.
the only criticism I had of James with this game, we were talking about Bobby before. He didn't. I was disappointed he didn't take more shots because the one shot he had, Tyrique George scored from it, and he was in so many good positions to take shots. And we know what a shot he has: left foot, right foot, powerful. He was in that position so many times where he could just take one touch and just have a shot and goal. And he decided to pass it up every single time. Basically, he didn't want to shoot. I have no idea why, but that was a bit disappointing because I think that's probably one of the stronger part of his game. His shot. He's got such a powerful shot. He gets him on target most of the times, just like he did that time when Tyrique George scored. He took the shot first time, it reflected back, and Tyrique George put it in. So I want him to, especially against low blocks when he's a bit further up the field, like he was today. And I think he will play the best as that midfielder when we're playing against low blocks because he's much more comfortable. When there's a lot of pressure on us and that, we've seen him struggle on many times that he's played in that position. I think that's the big difference.
Yeah,
We pin them
and
back.
good instinct from the kid, Tyrique George, for reading the game very well, realizing that
Very
going
well,
for a
yeah.
rebound and slotted it in perfectly. The ease at which he did that and the calmness, I was marveled really.
Yeah, and to stay on side because he needed to stay on side as well. So
Yeah.
he was looking across as well. So that was good to see. That was awareness. A lot of young kids don't really have the awareness. They'll just stay in an offside position and then, but he had the awareness to look across and stay on side. So that was really good. But yeah, like I said, the only criticism, James, in the game, I want him to shoot a lot more because he's got that shot and test the keeper. The one time he did, well, we scored. Tyrique George put it in because the shot was on target to his right. He had to get down and make a good save, the keeper, and we scored from it. So that's the only criticism I had in the whole game. I kept saying at the screen, shoot, take a touch and shoot. He was so close to the box. I really don't know why he didn't shoot. I didn't understand why he didn't have, he should have had 5 or 6 shots in that game.
Yep. I don't think there's anything else. Is there anything else you want us to talk about?
No, coach, that's it. We've covered it all. It's a good win, and we move. Hopefully, Ipswich. Like I said, that's a big game for me because I want to see what Maresca does in that game.
Yeah, to get the best out of them. I think we're going to beat them. If anything, we've been good at home, better at home than we'll be away. With that, we've come to the natural end of this particular show. Thank you to all of you for finding the time to join. Thanks to Bobby. Thanks to Constantine Dunn, the captain of the house. For some of you who don't like it, you know what to do. And in the comment section, we have Kim So. We have the coolest chest and Tobago. And then Jimmy Cliff TV. Nice to see you. Keyshawn, nice to see you. Shaking my head. United with the last second. Really? Did they end up winning that game?
Looks like it.
Oh my goodness. But Keyshawn, nice to see you, my New York bro, and all of you. Vic was also here. Jay, nice to see you, Jay. Coach, I appreciate you joining. And if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers. They won?
No, it's still 1. It's 1-1.
Okay, still 1-1. Okay. All right. See you guys next time.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar. We rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, hear our voices still alive. We love for the team stands strong by our side.
Every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust. Our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines. Bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real does, and I would have loved this storm. Every phone's just to there, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like you soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust. Our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines. Bright lights up the sky. Our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge to our voices to the light. We love for the team stand strong by our side.
Every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe does, and then with a love this storm, every phone says to bed, and there was a strife. How you, my heart, keep the blue fading flying high, will soar through every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge to our voices to the light. We love for the team stand strong by our side.
Every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe does, and then with a love this storm, every phone says to bed, and there was a strife. How you, my heart, keep the blue fading flying high, will soar through every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge to our voices to the light. We love for the team stand strong by our side.
Every challenge we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe dust, and then with a love did storm. Every form says to bear, and there was a strife. How you, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real of dust, and then with a love did storm. Every form says to bear, and there was a strife. How you, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real of dust, and then with a love did storm. Every form says to bear, and there was a strife. How you, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit